DLSA will be talking about child marriage, an evil or virtuous practice. Now let's talk about what is marriage and what is child marriage. Marriage is considered as one of the most important social institutions through which a society progresses, as it is a means of establishing family relations. But what happens when the marriage is done of a child? Child marriage is considered as one of the most burning and hot issues of the Indian society. It refers to a social phenomenon practiced in some societies of India where a young child below the marriageable age is often married to another child or even an adult. Child marriage constitutes a gross violation of human rights, leaving physical, psychological, and emotional scars for life. While boys are affected by it too, the practice predominantly has an impact on the girls. Talk about child marriage. Marriage is said to be child marriage when either the man or the woman is below the minimum age what is prescribed by the law. Child marriage ends the childhood. Globally, more than half the billion girls and women alive today were married in their childhood. In India, the practice of child marriage was first legally prohibited in 1929 through the Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929. The act was amended in 1978 to prescribe 21 and 18 years minimum age for male and female respectively. In 2006, a new act, the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, came into force by repealing the earlier act. In 2001, an amendment bill was introduced to increase the minimum age of women to 21 years of age from 18 years. Now, what is the aim and objective of this PPT? The scope of the study to justify the cruelty among the children and related to marriages. The basic aim behind this presentation shows the involvement of laws and regulations from the protection of child and prohibition of such marriages. The main causes that we can deal of child marriage is illiteracy of the parent, the poverty of the family, the girl's security from a younger age, avoiding the share of ancestral property, religious dictates, social constraints, social status of women, gender discrimination, and lack of awareness of the family. Now let's talk about the consequences a child marriage leads to a girl or the boy. The most important is the violation of their basic rights as a child, the maternal mortality, injustice towards the woman in their family, irrelevant pressure on the male child to bear the responsibilities of a family, domestic violence on both either the girl or the boy. Illiteracy furthermore increases at an alarming rate. The early pregnancy health complications that a girl bears because of the child marriage, malnutrition of the woman, anxiety and the depression for the whole family, infant mortality, as the woman herself is malnutrition, the child also bears the burden of the death. Teen widows, gender inequality furthermore increases, loss of basic rights, and the most important, loss of self esteem in the woman. Now, child marriage also leads to prevalent crimes such as early death, threat to the bride's child, murder, abuse, emotional abuse, and physical abuse. The child marriage is considered as a major contributor towards observed violence against the woman in India. The family even abate her for the suicide and defame her dignity. Threat related to education and nourishment of the child born out of child marriage is also there. Issues of burning the bride is common in India. Chances of extramarital affairs increases. Now, the government has tried to control it but has failed and still is trying. The laws relating to it of child and child marriage can be described as Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929, the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, Hindu Marriage Act, Muslim Personal Law, Indian Christian Marriage Act, Protection of Children from Sexual Abuses, Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act 2002. Now let's talk about Child Marriage Restraint Act to 1929. The Restraint Act was also known as Sharda Act, was law enacted to restrain the practices of child marriage. This act defined the child if male not completed 21 years of age and if female has not completed 18 years of age. The object is to eliminate the social evil which had the potentialities of dangers to the life and health of a female child who could not withstand the stress and strains of married life and to avoid the early death of such minor mothers. Then comes the Hindu Marriage Act 1956. Under the Hindu Marriage Act, only the parties to the child marriage are punishable, even if they did not consent to the union. Indian Christian Marriage Act provides that a preliminary notice is to be issued 14 days prior to the marriage if the marriage is to be contracted between the minors. Muslim personal law is not codified in India. Its provisions are based on the interpretation of the Quran. Let's talk about the prohibition of the Child Marriage Act 2006, which is very important. This act replaced the Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929, which was enacted during the British era. It defines a child to mean a male below 21 years and a female below 18 years. A minor is defined as a person who has not attained the age of majority as per the Majority Act. The legal status of child marriage is voidable if so desired by one of the parties. However, if the consent is obtained by fraud, deceit, or if the child is enticed away from his her lawful guardian, and if the sole purpose to use the child is for trafficking or other immoral purposes, marriage would be considered as void. A decree of nullity can be obtained by a girl who has entered into a child marriage within the 2 years of attaining the age of 18, that is, 20 years of age. A bill in 2021 has been passed to increase it to 23 years of age. This act treats a child born out of child marriage to be legitimate and makes provision for their custody and maintenance. There is also a provision for maintenance of a girl child. Husband is liable to pay maintenance in case he is a major. In case the husband is minor, his parents would be liable to pay the maintenance. It is a crime to attain or take part in a child marriage as a parent or a guardian. It is also a crime if an adult male marries a child female. It envisages preventing child marriage with the punishment of rigorous imprisonment for 2 years and or fine of rupees 1 lakh. This act provides for the appointment of child marriage prohibition officer whose duties are to prevent child marriage and spread awareness regarding this. Now let's talk about protection of children from sexual offences 2012. The POXO Act is a secular in nature. This act has overriding powers on the other laws. Offences against the child will be treated under POXO and the violator will be punished according to it. Sexual intercourse with a child, with a girl child especially, between 15 to 18 years will be considered as rape. POXO will be applicable even in cases of a consensual relationship with a minor. Juvenile Justice and Care Protection of Children Act 2015, a main legal framework for the juvenile justice in India. It ensures a proper care, development, treatment, and social reintegration of children in different circumstances by adopting child-friendly approach in the best interest of the child. The JJ Act 2015 has replaced all the corresponding laws relating to juvenile in conflict with law and children in need of care and protection. A juvenile justice board has to be constituted in every district under this act. It added the definition of those at the imminent risk of marriage before attaining the age of marriage, and those parents, family members, guardians, and any other person are likely to be responsible for solemnization of such marriage. Special juvenile police unit shall be provided with special training to deal with child rescued from the child marriage. Children Protection Unit is a fundamental unit for implementation of Juvenile Justice Act. A child welfare committee has to be formed under 2015 Act. Now, let's talk about how to stop a child marriage as a person, including the child itself. Anyone can file a complaint of child marriage, including the child. It doesn't matter whether the marriage has already taken place or the marriage is going to take place. You can simply call on 1098, a toll free number operated by Childline India Foundation. Or you can go to police station or call on 100. You can also approach a child marriage prohibition officer or go to child welfare committee. You can also file a complaint with the court, educate your family, community, and friends. And you should promise to never be a part of it or any event that promotes child marriage. As a child, you can approach your school teacher, doctors, Anganwadi workers, panchayat educated people, or college students around you, your neighbors, or even post it on social media or YouTube. Let's talk about what an NGO can do. NGO plays an important role in preventing child marriage. Awareness programs are commenced by NGOs to educate children, families, village elders about the consequences of the child marriage. Once an NGO is approached by a person, they have the right and should intervene in such marriages. They can directly intervene or indirectly intervene by help of child marriage prohibition officer to take legal actions against such people or the family solemnizing the marriage. NGO can approach child welfare committee as to give proper care and protection to those victims of the child marriage. NGO should file a complaint with the court in such cases. NGO should provide free education and try to eradicate poverty as they can do. Now let's talk about the schemes and government actions taken by it. Government has played and is still trying to prevent an act such as child marriage in our society. There are many schemes and provisions by the government to prevent child marriage and protect children, such as Article 21A, which deals with free education and compulsory education to all the children from the age of 6 to 14 years. Article 24 deals with employment of children. Article 39A of the Indian Constitution deals with free legal aid. Schemes such as Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, a campaign launched by the government of India to protect girl child and to educate them for a better future. Another scheme known as Dhan Lakshmi scheme, a conditional cash transfer for the girl child with insurance cover. The scheme aimed at doing away with child marriage by offering parents an attractive sum of amount to encourage parents to educate their child as well as covering certain medical insurances for the girl child. The National Commission for Protection of Children Rights undertakes various activities, programs from time to time with concerned stakeholders, organizations such as representatives of Child Welfare Committee, the police of issues holding child marriage. A very important scheme by Jharkhand government known as Mukhyamantri Sukanya Yojana will provide 5,000 rupees financial support time to time from the birth of the girl child to her marriage. The objective of Mukhyamantri Sukanya Yojana is to promote the education of the girl child of the Jharkhand state as well as to reduce the child marriage ratio. Another scheme is Savitri Bhai Phule Kishori Yojana, a scheme for the girl child to give 4,000 rupees after completing the age of 18 years to encourage girl education and curbing early marriage. Jharkhand Mukbir Yojana, a scheme by the Jharkhand government to curb child marriage under which if a person reports child marriage, she will be rewarded with 1,000 rupees. Moreover, all the village panchayats will be offered rupees 50,000 if in a single year there is a no case of child marriage. Mukhyamantri Kanyadan Yojana was launched by the Jharkhand government to provide financial assistance for the girl child in the family only if the girl is above 18 years of age and a boy is above 21 years of age. The scheme will be applicable. Coming to the conclusion of the child marriage not only violates the rights of a child but also take away their childhood from them, put a burden of idle relationship on them. It is considered as one of the social mania that is that cannot be curbed easily without the support of the society. There have been demands to make the child marriage void ab initio, meaning that it should be void from the start of it since a long time. But the Indian society is complicated and complex, making the child marriage void will only jeopardize the rights of a woman who are the victims of the child marriage. The practice of the child marriage repeatedly denies the education to young brides as they are put into the roles of being a mother or the housewife. They struggle to receive the same treatment as everyone else and are expected to be failures. Money plays a big factor in the perseverance of the child marriage. In some cultures, girls are not even seen as the family members, but simply as the burden. Coming to the end, thank you.